Hey, Charles. How are you?
Hey, Dan, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well.
What's new since last time we talked?
I am 43 hours into my fast.
God help you.
Yeah.
Just
it gets easier, though. Day 2.
Just liquid, right?
Yeah.
Oof. Okay.
But
how's it going?
Warm liquid.
Yeah.
A lot of caffeine.
Yeah.
First day was rough. Did not sleep well last night. Could have been from the caffeine or stimulants, or it could have been from some stomach grumbling. But I have a lot more energy and alertness today than I normally do when I'm not fasting in a weird way. Now, that also does happen to me this time of month.
Based on your menstrual cycle?
Based on my menstrual cycle and based on the lunar cycle, actually, because we're having a full moon on the 26th. And so a couple days before and a couple days afterwards, I'm a light sleeper. I don't sleep much, but I'm also not as tired. It's weird. I'm not sleeping deep at all, but during the day, I'm waking up and I'm a little groggy when I wake up, but I have a pretty good day full of energy usually.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm weird. I don't know. So
you adjust the camera here for just a second.
Yeah.
I think I bumped it.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Okay, there we go. All right. There. Now everybody can see you mostly sitting in the center of the frame.
There we go. Nice.
Yeah, fasting, man. We're going to talk about detoxes and fasts and stuff. And they certainly, it is an effective way to drop some lbs, especially water weight.
For sure. Yeah.
And I just don't like, it's crazy how many times I've tried to fast and like I will have ordered my meal through the drive-through and like be between windows when I remember, oh, I'm fasting.
Wow.
And like I'll just go on full autopilot and order food and be like, fudge, I guess I'm going to drink this Diet Coke, but the rest of it goes straight in the garbage.
Oh.
Because you can't McDonald's is like, oh, we'll take it back.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, yeah, I've done that before where I've had to throw away a Big Mac and large fry because I forgot that I was fasting. I was just zoned out completely.
Oh, holy cow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's probably, whatever prion or parameciums are eating my brain. That part of it just checks out. But all right, so let's since you're fasting, we'll jump right into the topic of detoxing.
Sounds good.
Which I did a little bit of research on this one too.
Okay.
And here's the problem that most experts have with the idea of detoxing. The kind of detoxing, the kind of toxins that detoxing rids your body of, there is no way you test your body and say, this is your toxin count now.
Yeah.
And now you've detoxed for a week, so your toxin count has gone lower. So it's what we call an unfalsifiable claim that detoxing really does anything. It's like, in the example that I looked up on trying to explain an unfalsifiable claim, it's something Jesus said actually, which is, the idea that faith can move mountains. Well, I have a lot of faith and I've tried to move a mountain. It doesn't work. And then the response is, well, you don't have enough faith. So it's one of those, like, there's no logical way to disprove someone's position. You can't, there's no evidence that you could offer that would say, okay, here's how I know for a fact that what you've said is right or wrong.
Yeah.
And so, just know that that's the spirit of skepticism that I'm bringing to this chapter.
Yeah, no, I get it. And my impression as well is really it's very subjective. So, for example, a lot of the symptoms that they list in the book and that I'm familiar with when it comes to, the reason why you'd want to detox are kind of related to like immune system issues where you might be catching colds a little bit more often. Maybe your allergies are acting up. I mean, who's to say what's causing that? Right.
Because isolating variables is definitely difficult in a complex system like the human body.
For sure. So, I think those are mostly the reasons why people might try a detox because, hey, maybe the cold medicine isn't working, the allergy medicine isn't working, or not as much, or maybe they seem to, for whatever reason, again, this is all subjective, unless you're going to put somebody in a, some sort of scientific study or whatever and measure them 24 hours a day all year long,
where they don't get to self-report their experience.
Yeah. Anytime anybody's self-reporting, forget that. Yeah. But I think that's why a lot of people end up doing these detoxes is they're feeling down, not doing their best. They're willing to try it, and that's the thing is you don't know, like on this fast, what happens is, there's scientific evidence that shows that, when you are fasting and you start to create ketones, it does actually offer some clarity with your brain and everything else like that. So they might be feeling better from that and not necessarily because they got rid of all the toxins, right?
Exactly.
So who knows why they're feeling better.
Yeah, it's just...
And you'll usually feel worse. All these methods, most of the time, you're going to feel worse at the beginning.
Exactly. And yeah, it's clear that, when you're reading the work of someone who is not a scientific journalist, and he says
a lot of like may feel or could
toxins could come from anywhere. Well, then they could also come from nowhere.
Yeah.
You can't have one without the other.
Yeah.
And it'll say like the idea is that your body can build up reserves of all sorts of toxins that affect how well you function. Like the idea is, so it's an idea. It's not a theory because there's no way to test it really.
So that's unbelievable to me that there's no way to test this stuff. Like, I'm not questioning that there is, but I feel like we can test for a lot of stuff. And if this is a prevalent thing to where it's like affecting your immune system, we should be able to figure out how to test for it.
Right. It's just, what are we going to call a toxin? That's the thing is lead a toxin? Is mercury a toxin? Yeah, we can test for those things. And they put people in the ground when they get into their bodies. Yeah. But the kind of toxins that you get from pollution and processed food, some of those could just be bad vibes, and we don't have a test for those yet.
There's got to be specific chemicals that.
Yeah, it's like what molecules are we talking about? That's what I want to know.
Perfect, like secondhand smoke from or like sitting by a campfire and inhaling all that the smoke from that, or eating the charred pieces off of like a burnt piece of barbecue burger, whatever. Yeah, there's definitely chemicals in there, and it's. Maybe once it's in the body, it's hard to find. I don't know.
Maybe.
We didn't do our work to see if we could find a test for that. But
I did read that, a lot of health authorities in various countries are like, okay, this is a way for people to sell things, products and services. This is not again, without being able to say, here's the baseline. Here's where you are right now. You've gone through this procedure, and now process,
something's changed.
Now you're somewhere else.
Yeah.
Then
it's difficult to.
It's very difficult. Like even with the acupuncture, at least with that, you've got people that can report. Here's how I felt before.
Right.
And then I went through this study where they either did sham acupuncture or they did real acupuncture, and now I feel this way afterward. Mm-hmm. With these detoxes, all you have is somebody saying. Yeah, you would almost have to do some sort of a blind study where it's like, but how do you trick someone into thinking that they're detoxing when they're not actually detoxing? That's tough. It's not easy to pull off. No. But he suggested, maybe you have chronic headaches. Maybe you find that it's harder to get through your regular workouts. Maybe your allergies are a little bit worse. And then the answer is, well, maybe a detox will fix it. It's like, okay, well, maybe killing your firstborn son on an altar will fix it too, but science doesn't have a lot to offer. Not everyone so it says, before you start a cleanse, you should go to your doctor, but keep in mind that not everybody's a fan of cleanses. So your doctor might say, this is stupid. Don't do it. And then in that case,
it's interesting. He never mentions like, if he's done a cleanse or
that's true. Yes,
that's
exactly. Yeah.
Wonder.
Listen to what people who hate cleanses have to say with an open mind. Meaning, don't necessarily believe them, and that's part of the thing that bums me out about the and a topic I've talked about before on the show, which is the death of expertise in this country. Like we no longer believe that any person with a bunch of letters after their name and a bunch of years in their field of study, their opinion's no more valid than my opinion. I did my own research.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you probably don't know how to do research.
It's fair.
I mean, research is also a thing that you study and get good at, and there are people who are good at research and people who are not good at research.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated process to basically.
I mean, to even read a study in its
we had a whole semester on that
naked
in college,
form
right?
is not easy.
No, and we had like a whole semester in college where the class was dedicated on how to read scientific studies.
Right,
it was not straightforward, you know. I mean, there's some obvious stuff if there's a conflict of interest and stuff like that.
Sure.
But sometimes that's not even listed there. And you have to dig to find out who funded the study. And so, yeah. And then, you know, again, you need to know statistics and, you know, is this significant and, you know, statistically significant, these results, you know, and then a lot of times, you know, the interpretation, the you know, of the results from the doctors, it's an opinion, and it could be taken in a number of different ways. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's hard to know who to trust, and it's even harder to say I'm just going to do the work myself, because you're never really doing it yourself. You are standing on the backs of somebody else who's participated in that study or who's written it up or who's offered their opinion. And, you know, that's where if you silo out where you get your news from, where you get your news analysis from, then you're more than likely going to be getting the information that you already agree with from sources that you already like. And so you're kind of just along for the ride based on other people's opinions.
Yeah. You got to really make an effort to be okay and be open to other information, not even being wrong, just looking at it or spending the time to look at other information.
Yeah, I always look for when I'm trying to get information on anything that I care about, it's okay, who can I listen to that I 100% know beyond a shadow of a doubt is a smarter person than me, but I agree with less than 51% of the time.
And even finding that kind of source
I know,
is not
finding someone smarter than me. It's not exactly
impossible.
I know it's not, you know, it's needle in a haystack. So you got to have a good magnet.
Yeah.
But yeah, once I find people like that I think they're smarter than me and I rarely agree with them, then it's like, okay, this is somebody who probably has something to teach me.
Yeah.
Okay. So that said, there are certainly advantages to limiting the kind of food you eat for a period of time, or if you eat any food at all. Some of those would be losing weight. Some of those would be dropping water weight specifically. Figuring out what foods you can tolerate, what foods you can't tolerate. I know that's helpful. But yeah, the idea that you're going to rid your body of toxins or free radicals, as they used to call them in the 60s and 70s. That was a big word that they like throwing around, free radicals. I would do it with a bit more of a concrete goal in mind before you jump into one of these cleanses that we're going to talk about. So juice cleanses. I watched that documentary about the guy who did.
Yeah. I remember that.
Used his Breville juicer and only did fruit and vegetable juice he did like 3 months or
I remember he was hardcore. He like brought it on the road. I remember he was like blending that stuff up into.
He was an Australian guy and he traveled around the U.S.
That's
only eating fruit and vegetable juice.
Yeah. And that inspired you, right?
Yeah. I gave it a shot. My ex and I did 10 or 11 days of just fruit and vegetable juice. For me, it was mostly fruit juice because I don't like vegetables. And so it was a lot of sugar. Obviously,
I bet
a lot of water. I think watermelon and like Granny Smith apples were my favorite things to put in juices.
Watermelon doesn't have a lot of sugar, so that's not so bad.
Boy, it tasted sweet though.
Okay,
I mean, watermelon's real sweet.
Yeah, I guess it could be, but
especially if you're only eating the pink part.
It's called water for a reason.
It's there's a lot of liquid in there. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's watermelon's one of the better options.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I did that for
could have done straight up bananas and oranges and
exactly. Or those are both real bad.
I'm not diabetic.
Yeah, berries are always good. It blows my mind how many berries you can eat for such a low number of calories and a low number of carbs, especially blackberries. They're so good. And when I'm really taking my diet seriously and I get hungry when I'm on the road, I pull into Publix and I buy a small little 6-ounce thing of blackberries, and it's like 70 calories and 5 grams of carbs, or that might be wrong, but I think in that ballpark.
Yeah. It's not
even strawberries aren't that bad.
I mean, I love berries, but they go bad so quickly. It's unbelievable.
Well, the secret is when I get them at Publix, I throw away the empty carton in the garbage can outside of because like I eat them like within 2 seconds of being in the store. Yeah. And so the empty carton doesn't even make it to my car.
Wow.
They're just gone.
Yeah. I leave them in my fridge for like 2 days and they're rotten already. So it's, I do the frozen. So
I don't like those as much.
Yeah. They're not as good.
Yeah. I have used the frozen combo of strawberries, blueberries, and bananas in oatmeal.
Oh, nice. All right.
Boy, it tastes so good.
Great.
Yeah, just take a handful of the frozen stuff and microwave it in with the oatmeal. Oh,
so
when I'm lifting, that's my breakfast of choice is oatmeal with berries.
What inspired you to do the juice cleanse? What did you want to get out of it? What was your goal?
I want to see if I drop some weight mostly.
What was your aspiration, Charles?
I'm not ready for an audit. I wanted to see if that guy dropped a bunch of weight when he did it, and I wanted to see if I could drop some weight when I did it too. He had like really bad immune system issues.
And I thought he had done some too. He had been testing himself before and after, and he had some pretty marked improvement.
I think he did. Yeah. He did. He was doing mostly, I think he was doing mostly vegetable juice with some fruit juice.
Okay.
But I tried it all, and I couldn't like anything with celery and
Did that extract the pulp, or was that part of the actual juice? Did it blend it all in together?
Good question. I think that it had like a little screen that you dumped out with the pulp in it. I think some of it made it in there, but
okay.
So you got some of the fiber, but not all of the fiber.
Got it. Yeah. And they made that went after that. I think people went crazy with the juicing.
Yeah.
And I think they made all kinds of juices.
And then Vitamix came out, and that really, I think it came out after that, or it got big after that movie.
Yeah. I think they're probably only, they probably got big. I got one not long after that.
Yeah.
But not for juicing. I was making like nut butters and stuff. They're all high calorie. Yeah. So yeah, did the lady lose some weight as well?
Yeah, we both did. But when you get back onto processed food after a juice cleanse or after any kind of cleanse or any kind of fast, then you put the weight back on, and that's that.
Did you guys just wing it, or did you look up a protocol for the juices, like how much to drink, what kind of fruit to use, whatever?
I think we mostly went the easy way with the list of stuff you should put in, stuff you shouldn't put in, and then just kind of tried to stick to that. But
so you didn't have a plan to wean off of it either.
No, definitely not. We didn't. I didn't even have a plan for how many days I was going to do it. I was just, I'll try as long as I can and see how it goes, and then day 10 or 11 is when I tapped out.
Okay.
I think she went longer than I did, but it was not fun.
Did you have any cravings for chewing things? Because that's a big thing. When you're only drinking liquid, you're not really chewing much.
I had cravings for chewing a lot of things, and because I missed eating food.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. Was it the chewing, or was it the tasting good things? Because I did not like, so many of the ingredients were just gross to me.
Yeah, you got good taste, but you can pick up a lot of stuff that I can't.
Yeah, stuff has to be yummy if I'm going to be down. All right, fasting, we've already talked about. The benefits of fasting include a little bit of mental clarity. When you put yourself in that mode where you're not giving yourself food, your mind does sharpen up because it thinks it's time. Okay, like we got to get serious now. We got to be at our best.
We got to find some food.
Turn this around. Yeah, exactly. Elimination diet. I've never done this, but I know. I guess carnivore is considered an elimination diet. Yep. So I guess maybe I have. I know Whole30 and stuff like that is out there, and I think the purpose is really to limit inflammation, and I can understand that because we do spend a lot of our times as humans inflamed over something. Yeah. And often it's what's going into our gut and the effect that it's having on our gut. Colon cleanse, never done one of those.
I have not done a colon cleanse. However, I have done a not with like food and supplements. However, I have had a what do they call those?
Colonic?
Colonic, yeah.
You have?
I have.
Where they stick the garden hose up there? And
and you're in a bathtub. You're in a bathtub, and you see a clear garden hose, and you're supposed to watch all of the fun stuff come out of you. I didn't have any fun stuff come out of me, though.
No.
Nothing.
Wow.
No. Now, granted, I wasn't experiencing really any issues. I was just
kind of like the feeling of hoses up your keister.
So, my girlfriend at the time was getting them regularly because she had a very restricted diet, and I guess she was having some issues, and she liked this one place, and I'm like, well, this sounds interesting. I have never had any type of cleanse before.
Right.
Let's see what it's all about. And yeah, it was just very unproductive and a little gross, or a lot gross. Yeah.
Sounds like it could have been grosser if more stuff came out.
It probably would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't see much of anything.
What did it feel like? Was it uncomfortable?
No, I don't remember it being uncomfortable.
No.
Because it's not like they shove the tube that far up the butt or anything.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't uncomfortable. And it was small little.
How old are we supposed to be when we get our colonoscopy? Is it 50 or have they lowered it?
I think I wonder if they lowered prostate, I thought.
Prostate, a lot of doctors aren't even using the finger on that anymore. They're just going by the blood
PSA.
test.
Yeah. They lowered one of them. We should really find out.
Let's ask Siri. We'll ask Siri right now.
Yeah.
Hey, Siri. At what age should I get my first colonoscopy?
Doctors today recommend most healthy people get a colonoscopy starting at age 50.
All right.
This is from Hopkins Medicine.org.
Oh, what does John Hopkins University know about such things?
Bah, humbug.
We'll call it 60.
Yeah.
Just chill out for another decade.
Yeah.
All right. So colonoscopy at 50. You think you're going to do it?
I don't know. Depends on how invasive it is, right? So I've heard that they've actually it's pretty common to like tear your colon, and
yikes,
depending on what they're doing with the camera and stuff like that.
Does Dr. Muzzy do that in office, do you think?
I don't think she does it in office.
Okay. So she would send you to somebody to get it done? Okay.
Probably, yeah. I'm going to be due soon if I follow that advice. Thing is, I don't have any digestive issues.
That's the question.
Chronic.
Should you only get it done at 50 if you're having issues, Dan, or is it a diagnostic tool that everybody should?
Great question. I got an appointment with her in January, so I'll ask her about that.
I remember. Yeah, I don't have any issues that would lead me to get one done sooner, but I do wonder is it like get it done sooner if you're having problems, but if you're clean as a whistle, no problems, then you start at 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know you got to drink some stuff and then you're like pooing all day to clean it out. And I've heard it's pretty miserable. I heard the stuff. The worst part for me is always the stuff tastes bad. I hear, and so that would be
for you. Yeah,
yeah. I have to. It's like drink. It tastes terrible, but drink it anyway. Yeah. It's like I don't know about that.
I don't mind pooping everything, but just the drinking.
Yeah,
it's the in, not the out.
Spend all day on the toilet. That's a normal Thursday.
Oh,
but having to drink something that tastes bad, no thanks. Yeah, so I'll be curious what she. I'll try to remind you before that appointment. To ask her about 50-year colonoscopies.
Sounds good.
Although I got a few years left. Okay, liver cleanse. I went straight to the last sentence in that paragraph. Keep in mind though that the science is still out on whether they truly work or not.
Yeah,
I don't do things where the science is still out and feel like I'm doing something for my health.
Yeah.
It's like
it's almost a waste of a paragraph. Like, why do you even put it in here?
Yeah, exactly. If you're going to tell me that the science is still out, it's like, I'm not going to start doing something that I don't do already.
Yeah.
Unless the science is in and it says you should start doing this, Charles. It's real important.
Yeah.
So I'm not cleansing my liver. I'm not doing a bone broth cleanse. Although I could see if I was just trying to drop some pounds, then maybe I would.
And I've done that. I've done like a bone broth fast where I've done coffee, bone broth, tea.
Was it to lose weight?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah.
Yeah, Dan and I are,
and kind of get into ketosis too, because
that makes sense.
You can get ketosis really quickly
if you just stop eating.
Yep.
Yeah. So Dan and I have the position mostly that these cleanses are made to cleanse water out of your body, so you don't look so bloaty, and so the number on the scale is not as high, and that's the primary benefit of most of these is that. Now, carnivore diet, as an elimination diet, I can see some other reasons to do that, but yeah, pretty much for me, the reason I would do any of these is because I want to lose weight.
Yeah.
And if I'm not dedicated to losing weight, I'm not going to do any of them.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. It's not my first go-to if I'm not feeling well regularly. I mean, thankfully I haven't run into a long period of time where I'm, constantly inflamed and have, cold or symptoms from allergies or whatever. So I haven't felt like, oh, I need to do something
right,
somewhat radical. Some of these cleanses, it's multiple days. It's very restrictive, mentally exhausting if you don't balance. So with any of these, I think it's important to maintain water and electrolyte balance, because that causes a lot of sickness. When you start any of these elimination diets, it's because at a minimum, our body needs water and electrolytes to function properly. So like you hear about the keto flu, feeling crappy about, any of these detoxes. And, the other thing too is if you are detoxing and, stuff's coming out of you, that liquid, you need to replenish that.
Right.
And if you don't, your brain doesn't function in the right way. So if you are going to do any of these, I would suggest doing them on a weekend or a day where you don't have a lot of stuff to do. If you're going to start them, do it where you don't, God forbid, you don't feel well. You can still kind of function and you don't have a lot of responsibilities.
Right. Yeah. And you don't want to snap at your coworker because you're on a short fuse because you're fasting. That's another thing I would try to avoid. All right. Let's, there's one short chapter on sleep that I want to talk about, quickly. One of the points that he makes about sleep is that deep sleep is so important because that's when a lot of your mental and physical regeneration happens, but it's the fourth stage, I believe, of sleep. And you can only get to deep sleep after you get through the other ones. So if your sleep is constantly being interrupted and, you're not getting to that level, then you're not going to get the full benefits of sleep. The other thing I want to say is I've listened to some sleep experts, on other podcasts, give interviews, and basically we have this perception, at least people who consider themselves to be high producers have this perception of, I can get by with only 4 hours of sleep a night, blah, blah, blah. It's like, what he said from his research is nobody functions at their best with less than 6 hours, and most people need 8 to be at their peak. Yeah. So if you can get by with your 4 hours of sleep, good for you, but you'd get by a lot better if you were getting 8 or 6. So, and again, I think it's a sign of a broken society that we take pride in this. I only need 4 hours of sleep nonsense.
Yeah. The thing too is if you're going to bed late, like you said, you're not going to get all 4 stages of sleep. There's not going to be enough time to get to that last stage the later you go to bed. So that's a pretty big deal. And one of the functions is it solidifies learning. So what I've learned is that
the transition of short-term memory to long-term memory happens while you sleep.
Yeah, it moves to literally, they've tracked some of this information, not sure how, but from where it's stored in the front of your brain and it moves to the back of your brain.
I think I've heard that too.
It's so when you don't have to think about it, it's your subconscious kind of, or it's just an automatic type of knowledge that you have, like driving a car.
Right.
It's moved, and that's when that happens in that deep sleep. What's interesting is I've been experimenting with this keto alcohol, and they also make exogenous ketones. And one of the things that I learned last night while I couldn't sleep, ironically, was that some of these exogenous ketones, including some MCT oil, which functions like an exogenous ketone, can actually help with deep sleep. It doesn't help you fall asleep, but it does extend it. And again, these are anecdotal, videos from the owner of the company, but apparently there's a Facebook group. People swear by it. I definitely want to try it because I'm a notoriously light sleeper, and I've got all kinds of devices and gadgets and things that I use that does help me sleep, but I still struggle a little bit. And I think most of that actually comes down to me eating too close to bed at night.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, being a type 1 diabetic, what I notice is if my blood sugar is a little bit elevated, I don't sleep as deep and I don't wake up. Even if I'll sleep through the night, I don't sleep as deep and I wake up tired. So I think there really is something, even if you're not diabetic, your body is still processing that food and it's going to temporarily raise your blood sugar. So my thing is, I really think that's probably one of the biggest factors why people don't sleep well is because we're eating all day long and we snack at night, right? And a lot of times that snacking is sugary stuff. So if you are going to eat at night, what I've learned and read is choose as much fat as possible. Even minimize the protein, because your body will tend to convert the protein into carbohydrates while you're sleeping, and it takes a lot longer to digest. It's going to raise your blood sugar a little bit. So if you are going to eat something, try and make it as fatty as possible, and ideally as far away from bedtime as possible. So I'm struggling with that, doing that myself. It's not easy.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the other. I think when we talk about some of the sleep hygiene steps, you'll identify with all these.
And I have a few to add to that too.
Yeah. So dim your lights. I sleep best. When I was a kid, I always wanted a night light on, but the older I got, I want it pitch black. I want to be able to open my eyes and see nothing. That's when I sleep the best. And I've said before, the best sleep I ever get in my life is an inside cabin on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Between the motion of the boat and the fact that, when you put a towel along the bottom of the door, it is pitch black and I sleep so good. Yeah. It's part of the reason I'd love to do I've never done a solo cruise. I've only done a cruise, with either my partner or with, Rob, and having the room to myself where I just can turn everything off, everything dark, set the AC ice freaking cold, which is the next one we'll get into, lower the temperature. Man, I sleep so good when it's cold and dark, like I'm in a cave. That is the best. Yeah. And, it's making me want to go on a cruise. And we talked about before about the idea of some, like 5 of the Royal Caribbean ships offer PADI scuba certification. Yeah. You get on the boat knowing nothing. You get off the boat and you're certified. I thought about doing that as a solo cruise.
Do they say how many hours a day you have to spend in class?
I don't think it's a ton. I think it's like half the day. Basically your shore excursion is your checkout dive, and then you spend time in the pool and you spend time in a class. Okay. And so, I mean, if I miss a couple, movie trivia, deal. That's
fine. I was just,
I don't think it's grueling.
Eat your whole cruise away.
No, I'm sure it's not. And
half of it.
They may even give you some of the material in advance. Once you pay for it, they may send you some of the stuff to study on your own. But I love a cold, dark room. So it does say to lower the temperature. Some studies say that as cool as 60 degrees.
I like it cold, but not quite that cold.
60's perfect.
Unless I get a thick blanket on top of me.
I like 50s or 60s. I like upper 50s, low 60s is ideal for me. I like it to be so cold that I don't want to get out from under the blanket.
Yeah, I mean, that
is perfect.
When I go visit my family up in New Jersey,
and it's a way to
get that a little bit.
It coerces my cat to be extra cuddly too.
Oh,
so
nice.
I like sleeping with the cat right by my head, and the colder it is, the more chance that he'll stick around.
Oh, that's cute.
So. Look, I'm very sensitive animal lover. It's great. I'm an amazing person. Okay, so get rid of screens. Obviously, no deal there. I fall asleep with my phone. I have this, like the microphone arms that we had before, and that you have in your office, and I've got one of those with a little phone holder on it, and that is where I put on my ASMR videos. And usually, I know I'm about to go to sleep when I have the phone would be right here on my right and elevated. Yeah. And I'm watching the ASMR video, and then I roll over on my left, so I'm facing away from it. That's when I know I'm about to really just go completely unconscious, where I can still hear it, but I'm not watching it anymore.
Interesting. Okay.
And so screens out of the bedroom, not going to happen. I'm not doing it. I don't have a problem that I'm trying to fix. I don't have a sleep quality issue that I'm trying to make better. And so I wake up pretty much every morning fairly ready to go, unless I've done something stupid like booking a 5 o'clock flight, to some city that I want to go visit. and then I wake up cursing and angry at myself for doing it. But for the most part, I wake up and I feel good and I'm ready to jump into the day. So I'm going to leave the screen right next to my bed. Avoid stimulants. Caffeine has such a stimulating effect that it can be felt even hours after your last cup of coffee. Yeah. What do we say the half-life of caffeine is?
12
hours. So,
yeah.
If you're caffeine sensitive, as I am not, but if you are, then you probably need to stop drinking it way earlier in the day than you think you do.
Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, to define that, right? So a 12-hour half-life means the amount that you take 12 hours later, half of it is still in your system. So
right.
For the 100 milligrams for a cup of coffee, 12 hours later, it's still 50 milligrams in your system.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is, if you're sensitive to caffeine, then consider getting rid of it, or just making it, you have some with your breakfast and then you're done.
Yeah.
Where again, I can have quite a few milligrams of caffeine floating around and it doesn't really impact me.
Must
much.
Be nice.
It is. I did notice, what was a lot worse on my sleep quality was alcohol, where if I had any alcohol, even not enough to get drunk or buzzed, but just one drink, then the next day I would wake up feeling like, okay, I did not sleep nearly as well as I could have or should have.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen a couple of videos from a lot smarter people than we are about alcohol, where, they do exist.
When we say smarter than us, we're pretty much talking about Sam Harris or Andrew Huberman.
Pretty much, yeah. But it was like one drink they've shown affects sleep. And a lot of times people use it to relax and they think it helps them sleep. And I know that's absolutely not the case for me too. Even one drink.
It might get me to sleep faster, but the quality of the sleep I experience overnight is, because you drink enough alcohol, you pass out or you fall asleep, but the quality of the sleep, how you feel in the morning, because, at some point your drunkenness is going to switch to your hangover. Yeah. And sleep on a hangover is not good and sleep drunk's not great. Right. And so, again, it might help you get to sleep, but it's not going to help you get good sleep.
Right.
And so, one of the things, I was looking at my countdown, I'm 720 days in and I'm going to do dry January again. So it'll be my third one.
Nice.
But, the hard mode is when you do dry January, you stay dry all between Januaries.
Yeah, that's right.
So this will be my third dry January in a row.
Dry, February through December. That's the, that's the challenge.
That's the challenge. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm definitely noticing lower restaurant bills and better sleep. Those are the two benefits that I've gotten from letting go of the alcohol.
One thing I do want to look into and see if the issue with the decreased quality of sleep is with the acetaldehyde, the toxin that comes as a metabolite from alcohol. Because there's a product out called Zbiotics that I've been taking that is basically a bacteria that eats up that acetaldehyde, and you can take it 24 hours before you drink. And I definitely do not get hungover. You get drunk, but you are not hungover the next day. However, I haven't paid attention if I'm sleeping any different, any better, or any worse during that time. So it's something I want to do myself.
Yeah, I heard something.
Because it may not be related.
And also referencing back to our episode a week or two ago on prebiotics, I heard a new term on a Andrew Huberman clip where he's interviewing somebody about prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics.
Yeah, the post, that's interesting.
Yeah, so postbiotics, basically you could just eat the things that are the same as what the bacteria in your gut produce.
Oh.
A postbiotic is what comes out of the bacteria after it's done.
Oh, give me an
probiotics.
An example.
Nope.
Okay.
I got more information
what is it
to offer.
that you got to put in your mouth here?
Yeah, but I think it comes in pill form, just like the pre and the post.
Okay.
But the prebiotic is what,
it's like fiber. It's what they feed off of.
Right. And the postbiotic is
what they produce.
No. Yes. What's the probiotic?
Probiotic is the bacteria themselves.
Okay. That's right. The pro is the bacteria. What they eat and the post is what they produce.
Yep.
And so, it's possible for humans to ingest all three of those, and it has some kind of effect on you that I guess is good. But again, I almost shouldn't have brought it up because I know so little about it.
Yeah, right. I mean, but that's the tricky part is there's so many different strains of bacteria, and it's also temporary. There's no like colonization, so to speak. It's only in your system for a few hours, and that's why you need to take it every day. It's not like they sit and they colonize and they make all this good stuff. So, but at the same time, there are things where people are doing like poop transplants, fecal transplants, where they're curing like irritable bowel syndrome and other diseases by taking the fecal poop and like blending it up and transplanting that into somebody who's sick,
Right.
and it's actually curing them and stuff. So
yeah, I've heard of that. And I recently applied to be a donor because remember
that's right. How much was that? How much were you going to make out of that?
I want to say it was over $100,000 a year.
Oh my God, that's right. Did you ever hear back from them?
Like donating every poop every day. They said the waiting list is like 18 months.
Oh, so you're still in the running?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I gave him my contact info, and I think you can donate up to 2 times a day, every day, or something like that, depending on how much you go to the bathroom, and based on your lifestyle. And once you get into the thing, they analyze your poo to see how helpful it would be. So it's like,
you better not quit the podcast once you become a rich pooper.
Man, that'd be a life, man. If I could.
You're not allowed.
Talk about spinning straw into gold.
Oh my God, that's nuts.
Like, sir, we need you to eat more Ben & Jerry's in order to really get the high quality. Okay, well, for the people I'm helping, I'm willing to do it. So they definitely do that.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot you.
They help people a lot. And then, I think Kurt sent me a link about a video like on Instagram of somebody who was doing it and making money at it. I was like, I'll look into this. I mean, I'm going to be on the toilet anyway. Might as well make some money. Okay, so some other good sleep hygiene. Start your routine earlier, which, you've got your Alexa. I've got my watch telling me, okay, time to wind down, time to get ready.
Oh, and I ignore it every day.
Exactly. I do the same thing. Don't eat too late, Dan. Some experts say not to eat dinner after 8. It's like, what you're eating after 8, nobody could define as a dinner.
Yeah. Oh, my God. No, my solution is I'm just going to not eat ever again. I feel like that
is the way to get yourself to a skill that you like, but
yeah,
I'm going to figure. It's too bad that abstinence is not a legitimate strategy when it comes to getting your diet together, like it is with heroin. I'm just going to abstain, or alcohol. Get some good sheets. Let's see what it says. Some studies have shown that linen sheets actually help keep your body several degrees cooler than other materials like cotton. Cotton is a good standard for most people. However, if you have sensitive skin, wash your sheets in unscented detergent to prevent irritation. Yeah, when I have to stay somewhere that uses a flowery scent on their sheets, it drives me wild. I like, hotels don't really put any kind of scent on their sheets. Right. And I use Tide-free pods when I wash my clothes and my sheets. Right now I am using, I've got weird size sheets because I live on an RV queen mattress, which is like a regular queen mattress, except it's 5 inches shorter. And so it's just as wide as a queen bed, but 5 inches shorter than a queen. And it only really matters when it comes to the fitted sheet. You got to buy a fitted sheet that is for a short queen or RV queen. And so there's not a ton of options on Amazon that are not microfiber. And I do not want microfiber sheets. Oh, no. They are the worst. And so I found one company that sells and makes high thread count cotton sheets. Okay. And so that's what I use, and they work well for me. Yeah. I like them. But I doubt there's anybody out there making linen sheets for RV size mattresses.
I mean, couldn't you just take a flat sheet and tuck it in and get maybe some sort of clips for the bottom of it or something like that?
That would require me giving more of a shit than I do.
Well, I mean, for me, I am so, I'm such a light sleeper. I would go to all these extents to better sleep. Oh yeah, I would for sure.
Maybe. Okay. So I guess I could get a regular queen size flat sheet and just fold it up, do my little hospital corners and turn it into a fitted sheet.
I wonder if a fitted sheet would even be better, because you'd at least have the one side kind of fitted, right? Because the width is working. It's a little bit long.
Oh, that's true. I guess I could just tuck the extra under.
That way you're only worried about one side.
That's true. Yeah, it's really only the foot of the bed where it would be too long, and I could just pull it tight and tuck it under.
Yeah, probably.
Interesting. Yeah. Why haven't I tried that before?
I don't know. I'm going to try that in mine, I think.
You could go with a linen sheet, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I have these special sheets that I got from Sleep Number that are like cooling. They're ridiculously expensive, but they work. I'm cold when I sleep on those things.
Really?
Yeah.
But you also have a cooling system,
I have the Allure from Chili Sleep. Yes, I do.
So how do you know which is which?
I've taken the sheets to hotels, to my family's place, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And it's a lot different than the cotton stuff that they've got there, for sure.
Okay.
It makes the biggest difference on the pillowcase for me. So
yeah, the other thing I'll say that I don't think he mentions, he does say use a noise machine, which you can, if your phone is by your bed and plugged in charging all night, you can just set a long YouTube video, at least if you have YouTube Premium. I would not want to watch a long video then for, with green noise or pink noise or brown noise or whatever the different noises are, and then have an ad come on in the middle of it.
I have an air purifier that
makes noise. Yeah, I do.
And it's
actually I just recently got a second dehumidifier for my RV.
Okay.
And that does make a nice light little noise as kind of some background noise. But yeah, you can also just put music or go on Spotify. I'm sure they have green noise and white noise and all kinds of different noises that you can use to keep next to you and help you chill more. The other thing I will say is mattresses and running shoes. I think people tend to use them longer than they should. They will wear out in ways that you can't see or feel, but they're worn out. So consider mattresses generally, I don't believe, last as long as the mattress company tells you that they last.
No.
And so I'm ready to upgrade my mattress. I'm going to for right now, I got a hybrid where it's got springs and foam. I'm going to go straight to a straight foam. And I've noticed that when you get foam that is infused with gel and has like a bamboo cover on the mattress, some of the problems that you ran into a few years ago with latex getting too hot, I have not noticed that problem on the RV mattresses that I've used that are foam based.
Yeah.
Like again, memory foam with some sort of gel infused material. I've not noticed that I get really hot. So I'm going to, maybe I should go ahead and order one of those today.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll wait till I move. We're going to move in a week. I'll wait till the move.
There you go.
And then, figure out what I can do to throw away the mattress. Usually that can be a bit of a challenge to roll it up or fold it up and get it in a dumpster somewhere when somebody's not looking. All right. So I think that covers it. The other question was about water. Do you take water next year? Do you have water next year?
I do. But I also do
have to pee.
I drink way too much water before bed, before I even get into bed. But I bring
that you just pee the bed,
and I just pee the bed. I just cut out the middleman. I know I do keep a bottle of water next to my bed, but I also do mouth taping at night. So
I've heard about that. I've not ever tried. I use
medical grade tape to keep my mouth closed, and I always sleep better with my mouth taped.
Really?
Always.
And you use a CPAP too, right?
And I use a CPAP, and I have earplugs, an eye mask.
You use the earplugs and eye mask at home, or just travel? Oh, okay.
I use it for everything.
Oh yeah. See, I use it when I travel. I don't use it when I don't use the eyes or the ears.
I probably don't need to. I've just gotten that habit, and it's just how I'm sleeping now,
Yeah, I heard Tom Segura was advertising on his podcast for mouth tape it's called like hostage tape.
Yes, I've seen that. It's hysterical.
Yeah. And I've not tried it.
It's a lot more expensive than normal medical grade tape that you can use from 3M.
Now, what about your facial hair? Does it not stick to it?
No, because it's just over the lips. It's like an inch wide, and I just put it over the lips and it keeps my mouth closed. It's not. I'm not like giving myself a hostage situation by any means.
Yeah, I have recently learned about tape that only sticks to itself.
Yeah.
So you could like literally wrap it around your entire head, and it doesn't stick to hair. It doesn't stick to skin. It only has friction on itself. And so I could use that and then not worry about.
I mean, but they make tape that just comes off easily. It's medical tape for wounds and things like that, or to hold bandages to your skin. And it's just from 3M, and it's like $5 a roll or whatever. And,
that's not too bad.
And it holds your
mouth. And so you tape your mouth closed, and I
tape my mouth closed,
and that helps.
It does,
because you better quality sleep.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be breathing through our nose all the time. We're not supposed to breathe through
Says
our
who?
mouth. Biology.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a lot more of I don't have all the details behind it, but even running and things, we're supposed to be breathing through our nose, just because I think there's a certain gas exchange that happens with some of the parts of our nose on the inside, something to do with it adds nitrogen, I think, the proper amount of nitrogen to the oxygen that you're breathing in, to the air that you're breathing in.
Interesting.
And it's better for our lungs. But yeah, our nose is meant for breathing, not really our mouth.
I think I've got some level of a deviated septum from when I broke my nose in high school. And so I think I'm probably a bit of a mouth breather. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Or because I'm dumb. I think that's
yeah.
Why is mouth breather associated with lower intellect?
That's a great question.
I don't know. I'll have to read a book and move my finger across the words as I research that at some point. that was definitely, boy, that made you a target when I was in school. If you were moving your finger along with the words,
yep,
it was like, what's wrong with that guy?
Right. Fortunately, I was not one of those people.
I wasn't either, but I should have. I was probably one of the ones that made fun of him. So hopefully, I'm a better person now.
Hopefully, they're better people now.
The other one.
Hopefully, you inspired them to be
through my shaming.
Through your shaming.
Well, Brene Brown has taught us that doesn't work.
Oh,
the other thing that was
another person who's smarter than we are.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yes,
we got three now. We got three now.
Sam Harris,
short list.
Brene Brown. The other thing that was a bit of a shaming experience was if you were reading to yourself and still moving your lips.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Another one.
Interesting thing I learned recently is that a lot of people who get laryngitis are avid readers. And what happens is, even though we are not making a noise or moving our mouth, our vocal cords are moving as we read.
Really?
And that wears them down. So avid readers, and I've known people who don't talk a lot, but they get laryngitis and throat issues all the time, and they're avid readers.
Interesting. I had no idea.
Yeah, I don't remember where I learned it. But I'm not making it up. No, I'm not making it up. And I don't think it was from, it might have been Huberman.
Okay. All right.
Well, might have been a Huberman.
He's on the list, so we're willing to trust what he has to say. Yeah.
I thought that was fascinating.
That's wild. I had no idea.
They get sore throats all the time and stuff like that. Yes, because the vocal cords keep moving.
One of the interesting facts that I heard that is adjacent to that was the idea that as you get older, if you refuse to get hearing aids,
dementia.
It brings on dementia. Yeah. If your inability to hear and turn sounds into concepts, essentially.
Yeah.
If you lose that ability, then you lose the ability to reason and the ability to think.
Yeah. It's
which
crazy.
Is wild.
It really is.
Oh, I just don't hear so well and I don't want to get a hearing aid.
I mean, full disclosure, my dad never wanted to get a hearing. He doesn't have a hearing aid and he needs one. And, he says it makes him look old. And I mean, I love him. I love you, Dad. He's 85 though. And it's like,
everything else makes him look old too.
Right. Yeah. And what makes you look older is when you can't hear anything at a dinner table and you're like not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Because you can't hear anything.
And you lose your ability to think.
And somebody has to say something to you 4 times, louder and louder and louder. What do you think makes you look older? That or a hearing aid that you can barely make out in your ear anymore, right?
Okay, that's what we should I think places that sell hearing aids, and the hearing aids don't require a prescription anymore.
No, I don't think so.
They changed the law.
I remember hearing about that. Yeah. Oh, really? Did I just say that? Sorry.
It's okay. We should go to one of the hearing aid places that gives free hearing tests and get our hearing checked.
All right, let's do it
and see where we're at.
Yeah, I haven't had that done since I was probably in grade school.
Same. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Beep, beep,
exactly.
Yeah.
Raise your hand when you hear
the
beep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember there was a bit on Cosby where he got it done and he was jamming along.
Of course.
What a great guy. Boy, missed that show. So we should go get hearing tests done and see how we're doing. I did get an eye exam recently within the last year or so.
And do you still have both eyes?
I still have both eyes.
Congratulations. So you passed. All right. Nice.
2015 in each eye individually and 2010 combined.
Wow. So that's insane, dude.
Eyes of the hawk.
That's amazing. Yeah. Once I hit 40, that's when... Yeah, I needed glasses for the first time.
Yeah,
and people out there, don't jump to get a prescription right away. Try readers first. I've spent so much money on a prescription.
Oh, really?
Don't need it.
Interesting.
Don't need it. I could have gotten readers from Walgreens for $30.
Okay.
Instead of $700 some odd dollars from a eye doctor.
I guess the key is look at the prescription that they give you, and if it is 1.25 on both eyes, then just go get
even if it's not, just go try it out. Go try it out and see if you can see stuff. I mean, is it really? That's all they're doing at the doctor's office anyway.
Yeah. I imagine the quality of the lenses is probably higher.
Probably. And you probably get, and you can get like real refined,
cool looking frames.
Well, Warby Parker is pretty good these days, but I guess different lens, if one eye is a little off than the other one. Yeah. Okay. I mean, if you've got some significant, vision, obviously go with the doctor, but if things are a little blurry and you need, got to use your phone to light up the bill before signing the check at night, like I have to do all the time.
So embarrassing.
Go get some readers.
Next time we go to dinner, I'm going to bring my headlamp.
Oh,
and turn it on so you can see the check. Since I'm gonna
actually, could you make a scene and tell the restaurant to lighten up the place, like turn the lights up brighter?
I'm gonna be passing the check your way anyway. I might as well provide a torch for you.
Well, it's not your birthday anymore, so.
All right, Dan. So, I guess this episode's going to probably come out after Christmas, but before New Year's.
All right.
Got any resolutions you want to share?
Going to be actually working on my coaching business. We're going to be working on the coaching business for the podcast.
That's true. Come New Year's, we might have a call to action for ask our deadbeat listeners to finally pitch in and do something.
Right. And maybe give a little value in exchange.
We'll see.
Yeah,
the extent of the ask will probably be go to this website and take this test and tell us what you think about it. That will probably be about as far as we're going to go off the bat to ask you to do anything. But Dan and I put a lot of time in the mindfully masculine mojo meter test that we were working on last night.
I love the mojo meter.
Yeah, and we put a lot of effort into coming up with good questions on that and developing a good tool for you to use to assess the different areas of your life and how satisfied you are. And so we'll probably, come New Year's, we'll be sharing that and asking our listeners to go check it out and tell us what they think.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, me too. I think I was a little surprised with the area of my life that I had the most dissatisfaction. You pretty much called yours exactly right off the bat. You knew what it was going to be, and you were dead on. Yeah. But mine, I was a little surprised. We'll share some new stuff. We're going to be talking with our podcasting coach Adam here in the not too distant future, and working with him in some new ways. And
we'll be going to Podfest in January in Orlando, 25th, I think, through 29th.
Yeah, and we'll share the episode, so I'll tell it right now. We made an appointment to be on Adam's show where he does a podcast audit where he asks us, what our pain points and our intentions are with the podcast and where we want to go and what's standing in our way. So we're going to have to answer some tough questions for Adam, and then we'll share that on all of our social media feeds and maybe even share. We'll see if we're able to share an episode of his podcast on our feed, so that you guys can get to it super easy.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing him at Podfest and talking to him to get his insight on what we're doing and what we could be doing better.
Yeah, I'm excited to start working on smoothing out some of those pain points before we actually get on the call with him. So
ideally, yes, we will do.
We're actually working on that right now.
Do some homework as soon as we hang up with you guys. All right, Dan, thanks very much. I will chat with you later, and I think we are going to be getting into what's the next section on wellness. Is this the one where we have to talk about touching ourselves?
We can talk about touching each other.
That'd be a quick conversation. I'm not interested. The next episode will be.
What's the alternative here?
The next episode will be CBD and masturbation.
Oh,
so that sounds
interesting.
Sounds like a real party.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.